Over the past 4 years of hardcore obby creation, people have always been trying to test their limits and beat difficult obbies. However, some obby players truly test their limits and spend hours beating the hardest obbies on Roblox. In this video, I showed you the aftermath and the astonishment of the obby community with the following achievements. I present to you the greatest obby achievements. To understand this story, we need to revisit a player that I briefly talked about in the last video, the obby player known as Khan2005, the obby player who was completely ahead of his time, and no obbyist even came close to his skill. On July 8th, 2020, Ring 8 was released to Duke's Towers of Hell to the public, also releasing a tower of a difficulty Jtoh players had never seen before. This was a tower of catastrophic difficulty, and this is now known as the Tower of Generation Failure. If someone were to beat this tower, they would be considered an inhumane obbyist. This tower was way harder than anything they had seen before, which is previously of terrifying difficulty and stuff. Thousands of people grinded trying to beat this. Most people gave up early on in their grind, but one person didn't. They played the game for hours a day after a huge amount of fails. Khan2005 was the first person to beat Tower of Generation Failure. People were in shock when they saw his message saying that someone had beaten the tower. However, the community would be disappointed and somewhat angry. Khan2005's victory was deemed unlegit by the Jtoh staff. If you don't know what that means, basically his victory is classified by the staff as, well, not a victory at all. But why did they do this? Although he grinded the tower a lot, he did major skips that made the tower easier. This made people hugely angry, especially Khan2005's fans, as although he did many skips, he still had to do the hardest jumps of the tower and spent hours beating it. This topic is still quite controversial to this day. Mini story aside, after Khan2005's issue with the controversy, a player named MyFart uploaded a video called The Tower of Generation Failure, fully legit. People were in shock for a second time at the same tower. MyFart would be the first person to break the catastrophic barrier, fully legit. After this accomplishment, MyFart would beat the Tower of Champions Road and the Tower of Elongated Runs, being the first to do so, at least what I know of. But that was nothing compared to what he was about to do next. On April 22nd, 2021, Ring 9 released to Jtoh, with the hardest tower then and to this very day as well, the Tower of Cruel Punishment, which sits at peak catastrophic on the difficulty chart. The first person to beat this was an obby player known as Insidious. Well, that's a lie, because he was supposedly known for cheating and not exploiting, to the point that it invalidated his run and completion as well, as he used skips to the point where it wouldn't even be called an achievement at all. After this, the community didn't take TCP victories very well, after a few people were proved illegitimate or were hackers, until finally, a true victory for Tower of Cruel Punishment. MyFart had finally done it. After a month, he'd beaten the tower, and this is widely regarded as one of the greatest obby achievements of all time. It is also one of the most viewed obby achievements of all time. On the 8th of September of 2021, a tower of beyond Jtoh itself was beaten, breaking the catastrophic barriers, giving an opportunity for more insane obbyists. This person was Boom Sazok, also known as the best obbyist today. On April 1st, 2022, an area called Pit of Misery was released to Jtoh, holding towers even harder than the Tower of Cruel Punishment. However, Pit of Misery is not canon to the game, so the hardest tower is still Tower of Cruel Punishment. Pit of Misery was originally supposed to be an April Fool's joke, but it became a permanent sub-realm. On the 25th of July 2022, a tower called the Tower of Eternal Void was completed. This is a tower of immense amount of difficulty. It's basically a shortened version of the Impossible Citadel that was made years ago. The person to beat this is known as Skitsuna, and he is one of the best obby players. Not as good as Boom Sazok, but still among the best. It took him over a year to beat this tower. On August the 5th of 2022, a tower which was considered at one point impossible, the Tower of Bruce Peak, was beaten. This tower is filled with very precise jumps, and it takes a huge amount of skill to beat. Boom Sazok had done it. This tower was now the hardest tower to be beaten to this day. Currently, Boom Sazok is grinding the Tower of Blind Fate and has gotten to 10 a few times. If he beats this tower, it will be the new hardest tower beaten, and it will be the first tower of Unreal difficulty to be beaten. Also, just today, Skitsuno got the world record for the Citadel Void, which he talked about briefly. This was thought to be impossible since day one of release, but it would be mind-blowing if he actually beat this. The best obbies for years couldn't get past floor 1 until now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Yes, I know it took me ages to come out. I'll probably be uploading more soon. Anyways, I'll see you later. Goodbye.